Think I'm live. Hello. Good afternoon. Good morning, everybody, and thanks for waiting. It took me forever to get out here today. Sup? I know, finally. 25 minutes late. Constant slacker. All right, let's look at this beautiful sign. Let's look at this gorgeous sign. Should we respect animals? 3 quick questions. And the other side, why aren't you vegan yet? 3 quick questions. Thanks to somebody in here. How you doing? So I know it's unbelievable. I mean, somebody's a genius who came up with, who architected this, and all I can do is be a vessel of this genius and showcase this to everybody. Um, but originally, I wanted to go down to the courthouse today and do another public officials. In fact, oh my gosh, the titles probably still says public officials, like vegan challenges public officials. But they were doing like a big event down there. So, and there was tons of people yelling with signs, other signs about political causes. So I figured that wouldn't be the best for the animals to get their voices suppressed by whatever arbitrary political whatever was going on. All right, yeah, let's see. Let's do the why aren't you vegan side first and see what that does for the next period of time, and then flip it perhaps. So, hi there, how are you? You want to try the questions? 3 minutes, 3 questions?
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's just kind of like a thought experiment.
Okay.
Are you okay being on my YouTube live?
Why not?
Why not? It's a
Hi,
beautiful
YouTube.
day. YouTube, say hello to the lovely lady. So I asked 3 questions. The first one is, do you know what veganism is, or what's your definition of it?
Well, people don't eat meat.
Yeah, that's integral, very
Yeah.
integral. Don't eat meat. I think like secretions would be part of it, like milk, cheese,
Yeah, I'm allergic
eggs.
to lactose.
Yeah, most people are, and there's good reason for it because it's kind of a by design thing we're not supposed to do. But I like to delve a little deeper into the definition. Basically, that is a part of the definition, but the big part is like underneath everything, there's a kind of a stance against something. So effectively, it's a stance against violence, a stance against exploitation, a stance against oppression. So that's really the definition of it that we're not privy to because of just certain narratives that have trickled down and been perpetuated for years and years and years. My next question is: are you a person that's against animal abuse?
Yes.
Yeah, by default,
Yeah.
right? Most of us are. I know I am too. Do you have any animals?
4 cats.
Yes. Okay, I'm a cat person too.
Yeah.
I'm a cat dude. Most guys I find are dog guys,
Okay.
but I'm a cat dude. So you're against animal abuse. So the third question is the hard one. How do you kind of balance being against it if you're paying for it 3 times a day? And that's the hard question. And I'm not trying to catch you out because I was not vegan for 30.
Question.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Gosh, don't have an answer for that one yet.
Right? I mean, it definitely spurs thought, and it's definitely
It does.
it's a kind of elephant in the room that nobody talks about.
Yeah.
So I would challenge that when we pay for something, we're exacting our actions, and when we hold values, we have those values, but really materializing those values is exacting that action. So what do you think would stop you from going vegan?
Much of nothing.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well that sounds amazing. that
Yeah.
sounds amazing. Because
I try to get as humanity as possible.
yeah,
Eggs.
and that's your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your heart talking.
I get pasture-raised eggs.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the same heart that would kind of direct you to go vegan, because even if those animals are in pastures, and even if they're getting massages and belly rubs, and we play yo-yo ma to them 3 times a day, we're still taking them to the same slaughterhouse and having them face the same wrath. And even if it's eggs, like little baby chicks, the day they're born, they're thrown into blenders because we buy eggs if they're male, and we're not.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Throw them in a trash can.
Yeah, we're not privy to that, or we suffocate them. You've actually heard of it. Most people haven't heard of that.
Seen that.
Yeah, holy
When
smokes.
I was younger, I drove by a slaughterhouse,
Oh,
and they were hiring
Yeah, and they were high.
to shoot them in the head.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That was
And
back in the 70s.
yeah, and that stuck with you as a pretty vivid.
That driving by that slaughterhouse the vision sticks in my head forever.
I hear most people talk about the smell of a slaughterhouse. I'm sure you have an all-encompassed kind of experience with it. It sounds
Yeah.
like. But most people give me the reason: culture, taste. I'll try to do it. I try to do it the right way, but I still do it. But none of those things really eclipse the whole. We're talking about somebody's life, and even if it's eggs or milk, we're still taking lives and sexually exploiting animals for the arbitrary taste we won't remember in a week.
Animals have feelings.
Yeah.
I was driving by
Thank you.
work one day, and
Yeah.
the car in front of me hit a squirrel, and his friend was looking over him like, "Dude, wake up!"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just like a heartwarming moment that your friend is dead.
Yeah. And that's the
If I
kindred.
had a camera,
Yeah.
it would have been the picture of the year.
Oh my gosh. And that's a testament to like animals' consciousness as well. Like we're all
Yeah.
part of this same consciousness, and that's the collective kind of feeling of solidarity that I think your friend had right there with animals. So you said nothing's stopping you. Can I give you a card to help you go vegan, like speed up like the process? Check it out. So basically, like for every moment that you're not up until you decide to go vegan, the animals keep going to slaughterhouses, right? And they just keep going to slaughterhouses for you just because of that arbitrary kind of reasoning we talked
Stick it in
about.
my backpack so I don't lose it until I get home.
Oh heck yeah! You're just an awesome first
Yeah.
interviewee today. So just think about it. Let me ask you a tough question. How many more animals do you think you would want to see die because of you before you go vegan?
None.
Amazing answer.
None.
Amazing answer. Well, I think you're already there. Just check out the resources. What's your name?
I got divorced and my name is now Zaya.
Zaya. I love that name. That's a beautiful
I just
name.
came from the courthouse to get my papers because I accidentally shredded the divorce decree. Oops.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, it sounds like you're on the up and up, and you're feeling good, and you're living your life. And I really appreciate you stopping by and listening to this, because this is, it's about their lives too, and we can all have solidarity and take on new horizons together. I'm Jimmy. Check out my
I will when I get back to where I'm
resources.
staying.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for being open-minded. I
You
really
too. Enjoy the
appreciate
rest
you.
of your day.
I sure will.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a great day. Hi guys.
Bye,
So,
YouTube.
oh, Zaya says bye.
Good
Take care. All right, guys. So we are here in Annapolis, talking to the public today. She was really nice, and wow, what an open-minded person that really took heart to the different things that we explained to them. Hi guys, how's it going? You guys want to try a quick social experiment? 3 questions, 3 minutes. Okay, so it's super easy. It starts off super easy, but then it gets hard. So it's like on easy mode, then it goes to hard mode. But it's only 3 minutes. The first question is, have you heard of veganism? Do you know what the definition is?
Yes, I do.
What would you call the definition?
Like not eating animals, like wanting to have like a certain
Yeah.
appetite.
Yeah, totally integral to the definition, totally. But not the definition. This is where I like to amplify, but totally integral. You're absolutely right on so many levels. I don't want to, like, the food element is totally a part of it. But we go a little deeper when trying to impart what it actually is. It's a stance against something. That's what it fundamentally is. And if food has to do with it, yeah, it has to do with food. If animal testing has to do with it, yeah, it has to do with animal testing. But it's a stance against using somebody else for our own benefit. It's a very simple concept. My second question is, what do you think, or are you guys against animal abuse in general?
Yeah, I'm against animal abuse.
You're against it. What about you? Yeah, reflexively, right? Like our hearts always say yes. Most people. There's a 0.1% that's probably not against it, and that's not who I'm trying to outreach. But the third question is a hard one. If we're against it, how can we kind of balance the fact that we're paying for it 3 times a day if we're not vegan? Because that is exactly what we're paying for 3 times a day. That's a tough question. That's where it goes into hard mode. What do you think?
Can you repeat that?
Like, if we're against something like animal abuse, how can we kind of move forward with that and holding that belief if we're objectively paying for said animal abuse on a 3 times a day basis?
Try to get them out of the house or just like call
As far as animals, when I say food, like animals for food, like cows, pigs, chickens, and stuff like that. Sorry, I should have amplified.
Okay. Um, I have no idea, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
In case in point, the exact reason why I'm doing this little social experiment today, because 99% of people, and by design, we don't think about this during the day. We just don't think about it. We go from point A to point B, and societal narratives eclipse all things. So, it's normal, it's necessary, and it's nice to have animals killed for food. That's what we're taught. But we're here to kind of disrupt the space and just bring some critical thinking into the picture and have you move forward with these ideas. So, have you ever thought about going vegan?
no.
What about you?
No.
What's the biggest thing stopping you?
Protein.
Yeah,
Protein?
protein, it
Protein.
makes you stronger and healthier.
Okay. What if I told you you could get every single essential amino acid from an orange? Like literally an orange has every single essential amino acid. Now, it sounds dubious at first, but it's just the start of it all. The key to getting nutrition is eating enough calories. So that orange might have a certain amount of essential amino acids. It might be a small varying amount, but you combine that with beans, chickpeas, lentils, rice, you eat enough calories, you're healthy. I've been vegan for 12 years. My daughter's vegan. There's no concerns. There's a lot of fear mongering among doctors and dietitians who are all bought out essentially by industry and really don't know any better. So we try to educate, people on sound nutrition information where you don't need any extra protein from an animal. I can tell you that. The animals get it. Where do you think the animals get the protein from?
Uh, certain animals get from other animals, plants, etc.
Yeah, exactly. So the absolute protein that you're getting is from the ground. It's from the plants, but you're getting it through a middleman. The animal presents a middleman, and with that middleman comes collateral damage like hormones and plaque-promoting cholesterol and IGF-1. I can go on with about 14 different things, and you don't need to do that. You can cut it out, one, and be healthier, and two, you can take a stand against violence, and that's what I'm here to posture with today. Do you guys have any questions?
No.
What's the biggest thing stopping? It's protein. But what if I told you can get all the protein? Would that?
I
What?
don't want that protein.
But what if it's cleaner?
I don't want that protein.
Yeah, I get it. But should that preference eclipse our kind of stewardship of others?
The chicken tastes good.
I get that. What if I told you can eat plant-based chicken and you're not missing nothing? Like I've eaten plant-based chicken for 12 years and I don't get cholesterol, I don't get saturated fat, I don't get heterocyclic amines, TMAO. I won't bore you. I could just keep going. And you can get the same seasoned sauce and texture from it. And in this particular case, I'm not only one being healthier, but I'm saying no. I'm not going to have that animal have its throat slit wide open and be a bully to somebody else. Because I like the taste. That's effectively what we're saying when we say that.
Yeah.
But that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I'll challenge you guys with that. I see you might want to be on your way, but it's an uncomfortable conversation for a reason, and it's the kind of conversations and horizons we have to be breaching as far as the new generation. You guys are the new generation. You're going to be leading us, and we need that open mind. Can I give you guys cards? If I gave you cards, would you look it up?
Sure.
My resources? Cool. I'll tell you, my daughter's been vegan since birth. A lot of my family members don't listen to all the fear mongering. Like even your parents, my parents, we're all taught the same thing. Here's a card. Maybe you can take one too if you want. I just appreciate you guys having the bravery to stop. You see the word vegan and you stop. I appreciate that because now I've kind of left you some things to maybe think about. So cool. You guys have any questions for me?
No. Have a good day.
Have a great day. You guys enjoy the weather. Enjoy the weather. I don't think that went anywhere. That's why I kind of felt the impasse, palpable and tangible, and moved it along. We got a certain amount of time to speak up for the animals. Try to reach people that we can reach. And to other activists. What's up, Martin? What's going on? Did I miss anything? What's up, Lewis? All right, so we're gonna go for another 15 minutes with this side, and then we're gonna change sides and see what we can hit with the other side. But I thought I was pretty articulate and delivered the message right, but they just, Socratic method is best. Just ask questions, let them figure it out on your own. Taking note. I need to be better at asking questions. Hi guys, how's it going? You guys wanna try 3 quick questions? Okay, have a great day. Yeah, sometimes I get a little runny, and one of the things that I've made it a point is to be less runny and more questions. So, Alexandria, thanks for pulling the reins on me there. We'll see how I do with the next duo. I like so it's called the Socratic method. Lewis, Steve, Sergi, how's it going, guys? It's actually a beautiful day out here. A beautiful day out here. We're at the docks. What's going on, buddy? How are you? Oh, live stream. Yeah, if you're walking around, feel free to stop by. That's it. That's the only way. Compassion, right? You too. Take care. Have a good day. Bro, what's going on? Come on, man. It's okay. I think I'm turning into a celebrity here. I knew the second guy. The first guy I'm making a scene with here, stopping traffic. All right. Yes, Sergi, I'm married. Lord Poppy says thanks for not being in people's faces. What's going on, buddy? Want to try the questions? 3 minutes? 3 questions? Oh, hell yeah. Okay, cool. So,
I'm not a vegan, by the way.
no, all good. Most people in here are not. So it's just 3 questions, 3 minutes. That's it. The first question is, and thanks for stopping by. What do you think veganism is? What is it to you? Or what's your definition?
Is it like when you're not eating anything that has like animal products?
Yeah, that's definitely integral to the definition.
Okay.
People will say not eating meat, cheese, milk, or eggs, and that's integral, but it's kind of consequential. So basically, it's a stance against something.
Okay.
It's a stance, and that stance is exacted and kind of materialized by how we use our dollar. So we vote not to exploit others. And that's essentially what the definition is. So it's very kind of subterranean to that surface definition. My second question usually is, are you against animal abuse yourself, like as a person?
Yeah, I think I'm against animal abuse. I think we define like animal abuse a little differently, or
Yeah.
we see it a little differently.
Well, would you say like someone getting kicked, spit on, hung upside down, throat slit, babies being taken away from them, would you qualify that as abuse or maybe something stronger than abuse?
I think that's abuse, but when you say someone, you're kind of asserting this sort of personification, like it's a
Yeah.
person. I don't think animals are people.
But we would agree, it's true, they're not people, but we would agree that they're sentient. Do you know what sentience is?
Yeah, I wouldn't agree quite with sentience. I would
Okay.
agree that some of them have certain levels of intelligence.
Okay,
Like,
well,
I also would agree that most animals, or a lot of animals that are eaten, have some emotional intelligence.
yeah.
I don't necessarily believe that equates to sentience.
Okay, well, how do you define sentience?
So I would say sentience is the ability to process abstract reasoning
Okay.
and make sort of complex decisions that are not fully based on emotion or
Yeah.
fully based on physical needs.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I would say it's an emerging property of a central nervous system in a brain,
Okay.
which allows a subject to have a subjective experience of things around them,
Sure.
to be aware per se of a world, of an appearance, of appearances. So we have kind of a nuanced I guess you have kind of more of a nuanced definition of it, and I can get that, but you can agree that a lot of them, for the most part, are sentient. Like they have subjective experiences of their life, unlike plants, which are more automatron, where they kind of have intelligence. However, they definitely don't have sentience. So abuse. You're against animal abuse. If you saw me with a dog right here, and I went over, I started kicking that damn dog, or I started backhanding it, spitting on it, would you be the person to intervene, or would you just kind of laugh and just keep about your day?
I don't know if I'd laugh.
Yeah.
Is the dog misbehaving?
We'll say no.
Okay. No, that's not cool.
Even if it was, if I was going nuts.
I mean, if the dog was like really
If it was like
misbehaving.
mauling someone,
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
get
okay,
that. I can
yeah.
get that. But so like in terms of like an objective kind of perspective on things, how can you justify or balance being against something like that if you're
Okay.
literally paying for it 3 times a day in its most raw form?
Sure. I think there is like a little bit of a difference between cruelty
Mhm.
and killing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, this is just like a bit of an example, right?
Yeah.
Say we go to war, we kill people.
Okay.
That doesn't mean it's okay for us to use chemical weapons. Because
Yes.
one is cruel, one
Yes.
is still killing, but it's more dignified, it's more fair,
Yeah.
and it's less brutal for the sake of, you know.
This is posing that the war is necessary. You're positing that the war in this case is
I'm
necessary.
yeah, saying this war is necessary, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we use flamethrowers or chemical
like
weapons,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Now, the way we kill a lot of animals in the United States is different
Yeah.
in different countries, but I know for cows, there's like an air gun where it's just an instant kill. Now, the cows are very scared before it happens,
Yeah.
but it is
Yeah.
instant, to be fair.
Yeah.
I think that's a step in the direction of we're not being cruel to these animals. We eat the animals. We're killing them in a much more humane way than they would die out in the wild because predators are not sentient. They have no ideas of cruelty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think you're wanting it not to be cruel. I think that's a testament to your vegan heart. So we have to posture with one thing, or maybe I can help you understand one thing. Nutritionally, do you think we need anything from an animal?
Um,
And if so, what do you think it is?
nutritionally, I think now, no.
Yeah.
I think that that's kind of a recent development.
Yeah,
Um,
or understanding. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, the way we look at nutrition, like, I think protein is much easier to come by from animal products than, like, non-animal products. It's also much more cost efficient right now for animals.
Yeah, well, that's mainly because of subsidies, unfortunately.
Sure.
And that's down to supply and
No,
demand,
no,
but that's another
I-
chapter.
Maybe that's true, but it is still a little more
Yeah.
cost effective.
Yeah.
And humans need protein.
We have to. We have to. Yeah, a male needs about 45 to 65 a day. A female 35 to 55, and that's
I don't
actually
think most
very.
guys get it.
Yeah, that's actually very. That's a lot that I'm saying. You
Yeah.
really don't need that much. That's just a conservative estimate. But I would challenge that with saying, humans have the most bioavailable protein. If I was to eat a human, I would get instant bioavailability because that's my exact makeup, right? So I really wouldn't say that's our by design intended design, or
It's not our
lamenting that it
intended
is
design
something.
to eat human. I agree with you.
Exactly, right?
Alright.
So let's just tilt that just slowly, and then now let's question the animal. Why is it our intended design to eat something that has, well, for one, eyes to see, a nose to breathe, a brain to think, family members, all that sentient stuff, and on top of that gives us. I mean, you go to any medical surgical wing of any hospital, and what's that filled with?
I don't know, dead people?
Well, they're
Dying people?
most
Sick
of
people?
them are patients from heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, which everything hails from overconsumption of animals. You will never see people with overconsumption of plants in those med-surg wings.
I don't
You
know.
might see a few,
Yeah,
but,
sure,
but
it's-
outliers.
To be fair, I don't know if it's necessarily just overconsumption of animals. It's people who are eating a lot of cake and ice cream and candy and processed foods. It's not necessarily because it's animal.
But the animals,
I mean, there's plenty of people who are on like a paleo diet. They eat just
Yeah.
like fruits, vegetables, and meats that are not processed. They're very healthy. That's like kind
Yeah.
of the way that the nutrition experts are trending nowadays.
And I'm not saying you can't be healthy on a meat-based diet. I mean, you can be healthy on a meat-based diet, but these conversations are more so about ethos, less about diet, preference, taste, and, yum yum, whatever. They're more so about a stance against something. Like if you're somebody that has a stance against something, then it would be a natural kind of tilting for you to just say, well, I'm going to be against the biggest thing that's happening right now, just for starters, which is the absolute holocaust of 80 to 90 billion animals a year for arbitrary means. Like, we don't need it. So the stark implications, we hope, would guide people to make those action-based decisions with their dollar, because that's the only vote that really counts.
Sure.
They're counted 3 times a day.
But, okay. What are you going to do when people like me don't believe it's a Holocaust? Like, we're very aware that those animals are dying.
Yeah,
We don't see that that is wrong.
yeah.
because they're not human.
I'm going to give you a very real answer.
All right, yeah, let's hear it.
So there's always going to be some people in every single injustice that are not going to change, but they'll be left behind, and that's the unfortunate thing. Every injustice will eventually pair. Now, that's not to say that all injustices have, but it's at least paired back to the fact that we have legal framework around injustices. And the same thing's going to happen with animals, because we're going to be noticing and tilting people's collective consciousness with dynamics like this. There's going to be more and more of us coming out, just for the sake of, because we can, and now we have this ability to proliferate, sound information, to prompt people to think about their actions. Because if we're somebody who's against violence, but we're voting for it, that's hypocritical, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't equate killing an animal as violence. You know what I mean?
But I mean, I usually have a collage with me with pictures. Sure. Like, if I were to show you some of these pictures, I think you disagree with that. If you see an animal hanging upside down, or say a farmer putting its hand in their anus, holding down their cervix, pumping in ejaculated bull semen, basically rape, doing that to a cow, and you saw that right in front of you, and the cow resisting, I think your heart would tell you otherwise. Or an animal hanging upside down with a big scythe going ear to ear, and blood and guts, organs, I think your heart would tell you otherwise.
I think you're making a bit of an assumption on the fact that, like, the average American doesn't know what happens in, like,
yes, a very yes, I am making
maybe
that
that's true, right?
Yeah.
That maybe your assumption is correct, but people like me, I've heard this. I have seen videos too, because I know people. I've known one person who was really into meat processing, and he wanted to just see what that entailed. And understanding the process, he was fine with it. He was like, "Oh, this is like a little more intense than I thought."
Yeah.
Also, I heard that meat processing workers have, like, really bad marriages.
Domestic violence is the highest.
Yeah, it's really high in that. I do. Yeah, and I was like, oh, maybe that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's kind of a vote for your fellow man too. Sure. When you vote to boycott these systems.
But keep in mind, I'm fully aware of all these processes.
Yeah.
But because I don't think animals are humans, and I don't think animals are sentient.
Yeah, well, we know they're sentient. There's a Declaration of Consciousness by Oxford from like 3 years ago. It's pretty factual, unless, it's assimilated through peer-reviewed research upon thousands and thousands of aggregated works. They're definitely sentient. We can argue that. I guess you can argue anything. But I mean, when all this evidence is mounted up, it's tough to actually be credential with that lamentation. So there's really nothing that I could say to change your mind.
I'm sorry, man.
I appreciate the candor and coming up and
What were the 3 questions, by the way?
The first questions I asked you. So I don't know if you. First one, what's your definition of veganism? The second one is, and I kind of like brought some other stuff into the picture. The second one was, are you against animal abuse? And the third one, very fair. It's just, how are you against animal abuse if you vote for animal abuse? So that's kind of the crux of it all. But I'd encourage you to reflect, because you don't have to consider animals humans. You don't have to consider them. You can consider them weaker, lower, whatever. But then, are you a guardian or are you a bully? And I know I'm framing it in a certain way, but essentially I'm calling a spade a spade.
I understand where you're coming from. I don't think you're being unreasonable. I don't think any vegan is, like, super unreasonable for believing this. If I believed that, if I equated the sort of, if I equated the morals that you have on to this topic, I would get it, and I would be really upset if people didn't agree with me on this, because they're just, like, overlooking something that I think is truly evil.
Well, you're being honest with me.
No, and
I appreciate that.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
Right. And because of that, I hope you change some minds.
Yeah.
I just don't see it that way.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by. What's your name, man?
Levi.
Levi, I'm Jimmy. Nice to meet you. I'll let you get on your way. I appreciate the talk and kind of the thought-provoking conversation.
Yeah, no problem.
So have a great day. Take care. Going nowhere. So we got to realize and back up and realize that we are out here for the animals for a select period of time, and that person's mind was not going to be changed. So we'll move on to the next interview. What's going on, guys? Guys, want to try the questions? Oh. Okay, we got the other side of the sign here. Okay, so it's just 3 quick questions. Are you okay? I'm on YouTube Live. Is that cool?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so it's just a little social experiment, thought experiment, just to impart some information you might not hear every day. And it starts off easy on easy mode. But do you respect animals?
Yes. Yes.
Do you Do you guys respect animals?
Yeah.
Right? And this is a cute little kitty, right? Little bird, little lizard. So the second question is, would you agree that animals have eyes to see, noses to breathe, central nervous systems to think, different peripheral defense mechanisms that are essentially kind of make them like us in all the ways that matter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you guys have any pets? Any
Yeah,
animals?
I do. I have a dog and a cat.
What are their names?
Hope and Becker.
Oh, that's amazing. I have Leo and Lulu. Those are mine.
Cute.
They're right out of a movie. Okay, the hard question is, and this is where it's kind of like, what do you think about the ones that we force into slaughterhouses?
I think it's really sad.
Yeah.
I think from a farmer's perspective, it's a way to make money, a way to make living.
Okay.
But
So-
depending on how ethical it is,
Yeah.
like, and the circumstances that
Yeah.
the animals are in.
Would you rethink that position if you realize that nutritionally you don't need anything from an animal? Like, so it leaves us with the implication we don't even need to use them. What do you think about that sentiment? Or do you agree with it or disagree with it?
I mean, I'm a vegetarian.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know
Amazing.
though. Got my
Amazing.
protein shakes.
Okay, gotcha. You want me to tell you about the dairy industry real quick?
Sure.
I'm going to tell you in 30 seconds the genesis of what happens to cows, just real quick. So a farmer essentially has to stick its hand inside the anus of the cow, hold down its cervix. It will then pump in the ejaculated bull semen. It'll get them pregnant, and this will all be against its will. So it'll be kind of a forcible impregnation type of thing. This will happen 4 times during the cow's life until it's spent. And after it's spent, it gets the luxury of being held upside down, cut ear to ear, and then kind of exhausted into the open field of space. And essentially, and unfortunately, that's what we pay for when we're paying for dairy. And we don't know it because we're trained not to know it. So these are powerful kind of audible and verbal dynamics. What do you guys think about that?
I see both sides. I think for me, from like a religious standpoint, I believe that like things are put on this earth for like use of people, and I think like cows and pigs and chickens, like they're put on this earth to nourish people, and I think that although like this does have like 30 grams of protein, like more like actual meat is more sustainable protein than
Okay.
a like protein shake. But like I see both sides, so I understand both sides. But I have family who's in the farming industry,
Okay, gotcha.
so I
gotcha.
understand both sides.
I get that.
Of it.
I get. So I would challenge what you said, and I appreciate your conviction and your passion and your candor. With all those things that you mentioned, are those worth a sentient being going to see a slaughterman where he's going to hold up a scythe and end everything they could have had in this life for the sake of arbitrary taste pleasure that you're going to forget in a week? You're not going to remember. You probably don't remember the meal you had last week. I don't. I mean, maybe a few of them. I went out to eat, so I remember a few of them. But all those things, what's more important? Somebody else's life or just all those things you mentioned? I mean, we can find other jobs, and we can even scale into different spaces. We don't have to stay doing the same things we've done. We're talking about life in this other side of the argument.
Yeah, I think it's honestly just like circumstantial. I think for me personally, like I don't see an issue with it just because it's like something that I have like grown up around, but I do understand like both perspectives. But I mean, I think like for animals that are used for meat and stuff, their life isn't really gonna get much better. I mean, like pigs.
Well,
like,
we
they-
brought them into this life artificially.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like
Yeah.
we did bring them into this life, and so like the life
Yeah.
that they're gonna live is the life they're gonna live anyway. They're gonna die anyway, so
Yeah.
I mean.
But have you heard of sentience? Do you know what the term is? It's basically, sentience is basically a term. Oh, last girl standing is basically a term where you have a central nervous system and a brain.
Yeah.
And you have a subjective experience of the world around you. And you can have the nose to smell, you can have the eyes to see, you can have brains and families. And essentially what we're doing is we're taking all that away from somebody, and we don't need to, because nutritionally we don't need any of it. I've been vegan 12 years. My daughter's like one of the healthiest people I know. She's been vegan since birth.
Yeah.
I mean, narratives tell you all this stuff.
Oh,
They
yeah.
tear you. They want you to follow orders, essentially.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your side. I really have to pee, so.
Oh, okay, guys.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for stopping by, guys. It's just stuff to think about, if nothing else. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Oh, man, we've been on fire. Conversation after conversation. Yeah, I agree, Nora. That really wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, everybody, please like and subscribe. Uh-oh, what's going on, guys? We got a whole bunch of people here. What's going on?
Are
So now I got to tell you something first because I got in trouble. Are you guys okay being on my YouTube live? You don't have to be.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
stay over there. It's up to you.
Oh, hey guys.
So this is the name is Vegan Sign Guy. So I'll make this kind of quick for you guys. Have you guys seen the movie Spider-Man?
Yes.
Okay, Spider-Man. What's the biggest quote from Spider-Man? Now I'm talking Tobey Maguire version, not the Andrew Garfield, which was terrible. Not the well, I don't know, I didn't like it. Not the Tom Holland. Nailed it. What he just said, nailed it. With great power comes great responsibility. Second question is, do you guys like bullies or do you not like bullies?
I hate them. I hate bullies.
Okay. What if I told you that when you pay for things that are not vegan, you are being a bully to somebody else? What if I said that?
Wait, what'd you say?
If you're paying for things that are not vegan, that you are being a bully to somebody else that has eyes to see, a nose to smell, a brain to think, and families. Now that's a big boom moment, I know. But what?
Perspective.
It would?
Perspective,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's effectively what we're doing when we pay for systems of violence. Like, everything animal agriculture is violent. There's no way around it. There's no way to hop, skip, and jump. There's no way to say, okay, we give them belly rubs and back scratches. They get treated good. At the end of the day, they're all taken to the same slaughterhouse, and they're all unalived. So the whole messaging today is I'm out here in the street trying to impart information that makes people think about what they buy. Because what you buy defines kind of who you are. That's your actions. So this is something I'm positing with. I appreciate you guys stopping and listening to it. What do you guys think about that?
I like it.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
It's pretty intense. What's the biggest thing stopping you guys from being vegan? Just full disclosure, I've been vegan 12 years. My daughter's vegan. You don't need anything health-wise from a non-vegan diet, no matter what you hear from friends, family, businesses, whatever.
I feel like the biggest thing stopping me is like my parents. Like I've just like always grown up like not being vegan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like that's why.
Yeah, me too. And my parents are still not vegan. Some of the best animal rights activists of our time, their parents are still not vegan. But you know, this is our opportunity. You're a young generation. You will be leading us into the next horizon. This is our opportunity to kind of to stand against something. You know, politics is one thing, but the dollar, the monetary vote, that's what changes things. Politics is one thing. Sure, we can have our votes, we can be political, but you can be political and still exact your monetary vote with the world you want to see.
If we don't eat animals, what protein are we supposed to eat?
This is a great question. She said, if we don't eat animals, what protein are we supposed to get? Okay, so first off, I got to tell you guys about a movie, another one. It's called Game Changers. It's on Netflix. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
Okay, watch Game Changers. That will answer all your questions as far as protein goes. You can get, so how do the animals get protein? Why do they have protein?
They're nutrients from like the stuff that they eat.
This guy just nailed it, totally. They get the nutrients, they get everything from the stuff that they eat. They eat plants, that's why they have protein. Oh, you're back. So that's why they have protein, because of the plants. So what we're trying to do is get people to just go right to the plants instead of the middleman. Because when we have a middleman in there, we're putting that middleman in a very bad situation where they have to have their whole life taken away from them for somebody just to go yum yum or that was good, and then forget about the meal in a week. So the protein thing, hopefully Game Changers will answer that question. What other constraints would you guys have against going vegan?
I don't have any.
Am I allowed to give you guys cards?
Yeah.
Like, can I give you some cards?
Yeah.
Just resources? Cool. Well, yeah, I'm on YouTube Live, so I come out here every once in a while, and I just literally just impart information. There's no money involved. It's just.
I'll go vegan right now.
Let's go vegan, guys. Let's do it. Whoever wants to take a card, tell you what, guys. Whoever wants to take a card, but if you take it, you have to promise me to look at the information.
I will.
Okay,
I'll
cool.
look at it on my bus ride home.
Oh, okay, cool. And why not? Okay, yeah, why not check it out, right?
I'll go vegan just for you.
Oh, come on.
Somebody smell
Here,
Jack.
okay, thank you. Don't do it for me. Do it for the animals. Do it for the animals. Here we go. Okay, there you go. Yep, everybody scan that speech. It's the best speech you'll ever hear. Wow, we got a lot of activity here. But I don't want to hold you guys up. I know you're going somewhere. Thank you. I really appreciate you stopping here. There we go. Thank you, sir. You guys are awesome. Anybody have any questions for me? Anything that I could say that would help you to do that? Awesome. Thanks, guys.
See you later, man.
Bye, everybody. Wow, we have an awful lot of activity at the city docks here today. I mean, we are popping. This stream is popping, everybody. If you're just getting here, like and subscribe, and I'll be continuing to go out at least once a week to challenge the status quo. That's all this is challenging the status quo. Who's still with me here? Lewis, what's going on?
You gotta walk, bro. Come here.
Alex, did you see that? All the heat this sign just got? Woo! What's up, Drac? How's it going? Yes, you're still here. That's awesome. That one was a. With that one, we started with this side. So, what's up, buddy? He's back.
I don't know. It's kind of like less chaotic now. Like
Yeah.
Questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it. You don't have to. I got to point it towards
you
me.
gotta ask me.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. So the 3 questions are, I'll go with do you want the easy mode or the hard mode? Easy mode, okay. So straight to the point mode. Do you know, what is veganism? Have you heard the term? What's your definition of it?
You don't eat meat.
Okay, what about you?
It's not like just not eating meat. You gotta like respect like animals. Like you can't go out.
Oh, okay, he gets it, and you get it too. I know. So that's absolutely what you said. It's respecting others. It's respecting animals. And in 2025, we can extend others easily to animals, knowing that they have eyes to see and noses to breathe and brains to think and hearts and families and stuff like that. So it's more of a stance against something, a stance against violence. And we do that with our dollar. We exact our change we want to be in the world with our dollar. So that's the under the surface definition that really transcends it. The third question is, so how can you be against something? Or no, I'm sorry, I skipped it. What's the second question is, are you guys against animal abuse?
Kind of.
Generally, yes.
Okay, generally, right? How about you?
I think if an animal's like really hurt, then it should be like
In a fringe situation, an edge scenario, sure.
But I don't think you should go around like torturing animals. That's like a different.
Yeah.
If you're like just like messing with like stray cats and stuff, then that's abuse.
Yeah, for sure. But what if I told you that? Well, let me ask the third question first. How can you be against something like, say, you're against animal abuse if you're paying for it 3 times a day? And with that, I'm gonna define on what you just said, piggyback on what you just said. When we pay for certain systems like animal agriculture, we're paying for violence because there's no way around it. When something's an object, we don't care about how it gets treated in the end. It's money. We can virtue signal and say things to sell more products, but at the end of the day, these animals are getting kicked, they're getting spit on, they're getting laughed at, they're getting hung upside down, throats slit ear to ear. They're actually getting raped too. And we're paying for all this to happen if we're not vegan. Now, veganism is not perfection. You're never going to be perfect, but it is the baseline stance against violence. So I would ask you, what do you guys think about that?
So I think it's smart, but I don't think I would be like able to like give up meat. But I feel like there's better ways they could do that.
Okay, and your heart might be telling you there's better ways. But if we just pare things back and we understand the fact that we don't need animals for anything, like literally we don't need them nutritionally for anything, like nothing, then we can be alone with this implication that the only reason we're doing it is for pleasure. And that's not good enough. Do you guys think pleasure is a good enough reason for taking somebody's whole life?
Nah.
What about you? Right? Especially when I frame it like that, right? That's just a spade being called a spade. That's just is what it is. So what would be the biggest thing stopping you from going vegan? What do you guys think?
I like meat and like I drink like a lot of drinks with like animal stuff.
Yeah. But once again, do you think like the liking of something is more important than somebody else's life?
Not really.
Yeah.
The way I see it, as a human race, we've been eating animals for hundreds of thousands of years. It's in our it's in our evolution.
Yes,
to
it's part of it. Yes.
Eat animals.
And I would add other stuff to that too. Like we've also.
My whole family is not vegan. Everybody in my family eats meat, so I don't want to inconvenience.
Yeah. Well, let me intercept that. Do you think an inconvenience is more important than someone else's life? And let me also piggyback on what you just said before that. You said we've been doing it. We've also been committing infanticide. We've been raping, pillaging. We've been mutilating female genitalia. There's a lot that's been a part of our story since we've evolved since the dawn of time. Now we can cherry pick those things and say, oh, this one thing, this justifies me continuing. Or we can look at things with a broad kind of perspective and more so come to terms with what we're absolutely exacting into the universe. So do you think convenience justifies kind of death, violence, and rape?
No.
And that's your own heart, responding there. That's your own heart. So if habit and convenience can be kind of transcended, what would stop you from going vegan?
I like meat. I like food.
You're not going away from that one. You like that one.
I'm a big boy. I mean,
I get it. So you can eat the vegan version of meat, guys. Like you have Beyond Burgers nowadays, you have Impossible, you have Gardein. They taste the same, plus they're healthier for you. And don't listen to anybody telling you otherwise, because someone telling you that Beyond Meat patty is not as healthy as regular meat has been duped. As far as regular meat, you're getting IGF-1, you're getting hormones, cortisol, heterocyclic amines, TMAO. You're getting all kinds of plaque-promoting mechanisms. You're getting things that disrupt you intra-anatomically, and you're putting this into your vessel 3 times a day. So what about a Beyond Burger? Have you heard about that?
I've tried it. I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
I just tasted totally different. Also, I like cheese on my food. I
Okay.
like milk.
Okay. Do you guys want to know what you pay for when you pay for cheese?
It's just old milk.
Well, you pay for a farmer to stick his hand inside the private parts of a cow to kind of hold down their cervix, put in ejaculated bull semen, and then kind of force them basically to be raped for the sake of getting that cow pregnant. And the farmer will do that 4 times during the cow's life. I know it's hard to hear, but that's what it is. And then if the baby's born female, she'll live the same life as her mother. If the baby's born male, then they just go to veal or they get reared for cattle. So this is the objective kind of fact of the matter, which you're not told. Your parents won't tell you that. Your friends and family will not tell you that. Businesses won't tell you that. But the truth of the matter is that's what happens. And you have to decide, are you a person that wants to exact that energy into the world and be an example like that? Or do you want to be someone that boycotts these systems and says, no, I will not do this bidding for you to the people that want you to, meaning the industrial kind of plutocrats. I know it's a heavy conversation, guys, but maybe you can think about it. I'll let you get on your way. Who has questions for me?
Can I have another card I lost?
Oh, yeah, hell yeah, absolutely. So anybody else want one, you guys are free to take one. I got resources, my YouTube channel. It's up to you, but you only can take it if you're going to look it up. You got the strength to look it up. You'll say, okay, awesome.
I'll look it up.
I applaud your bravery, guys. Yeah.
So veganism seems to be like you can't usually eat eggs either, but how come?
Yes.
Although the chicken hasn't really been born yet.
Yes, what a great question. So eggs are something I like to kind of amplify on. So 99% of eggs are industrial eggs, right? So if the baby's born male, then it gets to go to this industrial grade blender where it's just thrown in on day one. So we're just saying, okay, I want to buy eggs, and when I buy the eggs, there's so many consequences to that kind of exacting into the supply and demand field, and one of them is putting a male chick into a blender and just grounding his whole universe up alive on his first day of life. And on another case, if say backyard chickens, right? I get that all the time. Even if you're engaging in backyard chicken growth and stuff like that, or you're stewarding them, you're still saying your body, my choice to somebody else that is not consented. They're just in your purview, so you're exacting a mud is right kind of dynamic on them for the sake of your own nutrition and, nutrition, meat, pleasure, taste, all that stuff. That's how I would answer that question. A lot of people are interested about the egg argument or the dairy argument. Did you hear how I just described dairy?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. It's nothing that you want to hear, and that there's a reason why you don't want to hear, because we don't want to know what we're paying for, But I challenge you guys to think about that, because you're the young generation. You're the ones that are going to lead us into the next horizon, and we need you guys to be ethical and to have ethos and to have that knowing. It's more so your awareness, your knowing what and how we carry ourselves into the next generation. And we're not going to get there if we're not vegan. That's like bare minimum, baseline. So I'll leave you guys with that. Unless you had more questions for me. Did you take a card?
No.
Okay. Just think, how many more, let me ask you guys a question. How many more animals do you want to see die for you before you go vegan? What's the answer to that question?
I don't really see animals die.
Yeah, 0, right? Isn't it 0, 0, 0? I mean, it's just calling a spade a spade. That's all we're doing out here. We're framing things the way that things are framed, and just stuff for you to think about. But don't think for too long. Go vegan. You can do it, and you can be healthier. Well, I'll let you guys go. I'm going to try to talk to some other people out here. Appreciate your time and your courage for stopping by. Guys, it's a big field trip today? Cool. Hey, if you're just getting here, everybody, please like and subscribe. We're getting the public going today. We're putting the elephant in the room on full display for a busy day in the city. This is a busy day in the city. Hopefully we just supplanted some sound information out into the open field of life there for people to adopt and act on. We'll see, but the best we can do is the best we can do, right? Sup, Drac? Thanks for still being here, man. Fielding all these, I'm sure, interesting questions you're getting in the chat. I appreciate you. But if you're just getting here, guys, like and subscribe. I was out here last night. I've been out here quite a bit recently. As the weather gets nicer, we're going to continue coming out and continue speaking up for the voiceless. It's not going to stop. Must be a big field trip. Oh, thank you so much. Hey, a vegan sign guy. That's the name of my channel. That should pop up. But thank you so much. Delve into the videos and also delve into the different things that I mentioned in the videos, like that speech right there on the back. That's the best speech I ever heard. Changed me vegan, boom, 12 years ago. I really encourage you to check that speech out for sure, too.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's entertaining, too. The guy's really funny, and he's very well-spoken.
Let's do it on the bus ride.
Yeah, go to the bus. It's about an hour conversation. Show it to your friends, show it to your parents, show it to your loved ones, because this is about us, too, and protecting our health and protecting our energies, too. It's not just about, the lack of taste and lack of whatever. You'll find the tastes. Yeah. You'll find the tastes. They're out there. Like, if your why's strong enough, like, I still eat meat and cheese. I eat everything I've always enjoyed, but I just found plant-based versions, and it's scary that, they taste the same. And I'm not getting all that stuff. I don't know if you listen to me. I'm not eating all that stuff that I was mentioning before. I'm eating plants that are ran through heating, cooling, and pressure, and they're fortified with vitamins. That's the beauty of 2025. Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Have fun on your field trip.
Thank you.
Oh. Everyone wants to stop by. Did you guys hear me earlier talking to? Oh, okay.
Are you like vegan?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's why I'm out here. We're out here just speaking up for the animals today, asking the public questions. Yeah, me too. And look, like this is the other side. Should we respect animals?
I love animals.
Look at that cute cat right there. This is the cutest cat I've ever seen. Whoever came up with that drawing is just a genius for putting this cute cat into the universe here.
I have 5 animals at my house.
Oh, you do? Oh, cool. I have cats. I have Lulu and I have Stella.
Oh my gosh, my dog's name is Stella.
Stop. Synchronicity. You're meant to go vegan today. Yeah, my Stella, we have a nickname for her though.
I don't want to be vegan because I don't like other food.
Okay, well, I was telling
Actually,
the two.
I only the only meat I eat is chicken unless
Yeah.
I'm eating like tacos.
Oh,
but-
okay.
So
What if I
don't
told
wanna
you?
eat meat, actually.
Right? What if I told you could find the chicken, you could find the meat, you could find the cheese, and you could find everything that you normally eat on a plant-based diet?
How? Yeah.
Well, I was telling them, so with modern technology, you have plants, right? You have faba beans, lentils, you have pea protein. All we do is run these through heating, cooling, and pressure. We fortify them with vitamins, and then you have a veggie patty. It's very simple. It's the same way a regular veggie patty is made. Which ones do you not get? But you gotta name them. You gotta name them.
I don't know what they're called. And my grandma,
Yeah.
my grandma wouldn't do that because I live
Yeah.
with my grandma. She wouldn't like buy that
Yeah.
extra stuff. She'd
Our
be
parents, our parents always have the best intent for us. They always do. But there's a lot of things our parents just don't know, and we're never told, and it's not their fault. It's not their parents' fault. I like to blame the industrial narratives that have trickled down from the top. But I would challenge you guys, if you're against animal abuse, go vegan, because you're paying for animal abuse if you're not vegan. You pay for it 3 times a day. I know it's tough to hear, but it's just a soundbite of truth. That's all.
But they're already dead.
But it's because we paid for them to do that. Like the dollar is the vote that makes them dead. Like if we didn't vote for it, they wouldn't be killed. You know what I mean? And a lot of us don't think about that. I know I didn't. 12 years ago. Yeah, I've been vegan for 12 years. My daughter's been vegan since birth. My wife, my sister, a lot of my family is now vegan. And it's going to be a thing in a few years where it's not even called vegan or non-vegan. It's just going to be how we eat, because we'll have scaled our intelligence, our collective consciousness, and our guardianship of others in that period of time. So I see in like 10, 20 years, we don't even call it vegan. But you have the ability to make the change now and to be ahead of the curve, be ahead of history, or be on the right side of history. So that's what I would challenge you with. Do you have any questions for me? I appreciate you stopping by, though. Stuff to think about, right? If you're just getting here, hello. Doing a lot of talking today. How long have I been live for? About 55 minutes. Drax still in here. What's going on, guys? You guys want to try the questions? 3 questions, 3 minutes. Little critical thinking. All right, have a great day. 3 questions, 3 minutes. I think I like that for a hook. Bryce says, I love steak. I was waiting for someone to come in and say that. Like, what took you guys so long? Thank you, Bryce, for that intelligent contribution to our chat. What's up, Johnny? What's going on? Enlightening says, steak is great. Thank you. All right. I doubted you guys for a little bit. Hi, guys. Go to the hood, says Luna. Well, makes me think of that scene from Die Hard with a Vengeance, where Bruce Willis goes to the hood in the very beginning. Yeah, we're trying to do something effective here, not something that's going to get me neutralized and deactivated. I'm an activated activist. I don't want to be deactivated. Had to come, and I'll tell you, I didn't realize you were live. Yep, Bryce, I'm live. You can stay and hang out if you want. We're just having conversations with people today. We're challenging thought narratives. We're challenging schools of thought. And we're hopefully, appealing to hearts and minds, and maybe people will make different decisions with their dollar. I'll tell you, last night, there was a guy that I did outreach with last week, and I saw him coming at me, and I said, dude, how's it going? Long time no see. And I asked him how everything was, and he immediately said, check it out. Today I bought a vegan sorbet instead of the cruelty-based sorbet. And that's called little steps. And the more of us that come out here and kind of highlight this elephant in the room, the faster we can accelerate people's compassion and realization of compassion and systems of compassion. So everybody in here who's vegan, well-read vegan, let's go. Let's get out here on the street. Hi, guys. How's it going, everybody? And let's, we have this. We might not have mainstream media, but we do have social media. And how's it going? You want to try the questions? All right, have a great day. Enjoy the weather. Martin Kevin says, be vegan for the animals. That's right. That's why we're vegan, not for health. Hi there. You want to try the questions? Critical thinking, that's it. Sure. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for stopping. My YouTube live is live. Is that okay? Okay, so what does this say? I have to look at what side of the sign I have here. Why aren't you vegan yet? The first question is, do you know what veganism is? Have you heard of it?
Yes.
What would you call it?
It's no animal products.
Gotcha, yeah. Like no meat, no cheese, no milk, no eggs, no seafood, no honey, right? Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry. It's got a phone call. I appreciate you having the open mindedness to stop. Sorry, I'll let you continue.
Yeah. All right, I'm on YouTube Live. I gotta.
She's on TV. So that is the definition, right? It's integral to it, but it's not the absolute definition. Like we go a few layers deeper, and the absolute definition would be very simple, actually. It's just not exploiting others and not voting for systems that exploit others. And it's that intent, right? Because we can never be perfect. But that's the definition. My next question is, are you a person that's against animal abuse?
Yeah.
Me too. Always have since I was a baby. I like to think. I think all of us are since we were like little babies. Then the third question's hard. How can you be against it if you're voting for it 3 times a day? And I'm not trying to catch you out because I was not vegan for 30 years. This is just a little thought experiment that I'm doing today.
Yeah, I have been vegan in my life before, actually, and I
Yeah.
do honestly believe it is the healthiest way
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be. It's just
Appreciate that.
difficult, and I have 2 young kids, and it's life and society are not well set up to
Definitely not.
embrace it, and so
Yeah.
that was ultimately. I mean,
Yeah.
I agree with it principally. I do think it's the healthiest way
Yeah.
to be, but.
Yeah, and the reason that it's not set up, the framework's not set up for us, is because of the supply and demand mechanism, like what we have as a collective, basically architected by our voting for certain systems. So the challenge is to be mindful that we can be agents of change, and we are the only ones that can be these agents of change and kind of tilt buying dynamics, and then have new systems. And I think we're at an inflection point in 2025 where these beautiful dynamics that I'm having with you right now are going to become more normal because social media isn't as suppressed as mainstream, or isn't as suppressing as mainstream media. Like, you'll never see our conversation on Channel 2 News. Would never happen. There would be a disruption beyond belief as far as the animal agriculture space. But I would say, if I can be a little direct here, like, what do you think is more important, the convenience or kind of being true to that values standpoint that you have?
Yeah, but I mean, I think I have a lot of values, and I think human values are like, if I'm
Yeah.
worried about how I'm going to spend my time and my voice in today's world, there's a lot of human issues that I
Yeah.
think need to come first.
Yeah.
I don't think they're mutually exclusive for sure.
Yeah,
But
and that's the beautiful thing about veganism, is because you don't do anything extra. It's essentially a non-action. Like, instead of reaching for one product, you reach for another. You're already going to reach for the product.
Yeah.
You just reach for another. And we would contest that. Like, there's a great book called The World Peace Diet, which kind of tilts onto what you're saying. And Will Tuttle, the author, posits that this is the genesis of everything. Like, if we are for human rights, default we should be for animal rights, because these are weaker than us. These are more vulnerable than us. So why not stand for them if we can do it without even doing anything special, and then operate out of that ethos? And it's a non-action. You can do it. Yeah, I've been vegan 12 years. My daughter vegan since birth. No issues, nothing. Don't listen to the fear mongering of narratives. Your own doctor.
yeah, no, I know. And I've done enough research on it. I'm educated
Yeah.
enough on the topic. That
Yeah,
I agree
yeah,
with
yeah.
you.
What's the biggest thing stopping you from going vegan right now?
Again, probably my kids. And
Yeah, I got
have
you.
to- they're
Yeah.
3 and 4, and I have to feed them, and I work
Yeah.
full time. It's a lot. So
Yeah. If I-
ease in that area.
Can I give you some resources, like with different information?
Sure.
They're just a card. It's just a card. Because they can be healthy too, And at the same token, it's like, this is my YouTube channel, Vegan Sign Guy. The same token, like, we don't have to put like all the cocktail that's in meat and cheese and milk and eggs. Sorry. Like, milk has lipids, sodiums, proteins, IGF-1, growth factors, hormones, everything meant for the baby cow, right? But we're putting it into the kids. And then the meat has the heterocyclic amines, the TMAO, the IGF-1, the cholesterol, the cortisol, fear hormones, all this stuff. And we're doing that. But we can easily, upon, the education and knowing more, just not do that and tilt our whole paradigm, which is a beautiful thing in 2025.
Yeah, I hear you.
Do you have any
Thank you
questions
so
for
much.
me?
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna go
I
make
love
my
that you
sign.
stopped.
Bye.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
no
What's your
worries.
first name?
Bridget.
I'm Jimmy. Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to
Check
meet
it out. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. She had to go. Free the plant, says Bryce. Okay, guys, I got about 10 more minutes, and I'm going to have to take off. I would call this day a raging success as far as our public activity. We've had a lot of public activity, but unfortunately, I'm parked in an area where I will get ticketed if I do not get the car. But thanks, everybody, for being here. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for being in my corners to support. And thanks, everybody else, for being in my corners to support today. By the way, let's all hand it to Alex for creating this beautiful sign for me that has been so efficient in getting all these people talking today and bringing up the elephant in the room and being that kind of vessel of change and agent of kind of use that I can use to just highlight what we're doing with our dollar and the systems we're paying for with our dollar. So thank you, Alex, for creating this amazing sign for me. But I'll give it about 10 minutes, guys. My momentum, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling like I'm ready for, some good conversations, maybe some heated conversations, you know? But that's the beautiful thing. All you guys in here, as vegans and well-read vegans, we can all go out and do this, and you have the truth on your side, which is beautiful. The truth is patient. Truth will just stand there and listen to you, but it's going to tell you. Truth ain't going to run away. Hi, guys. And by proliferating these kinds of models and dynamics, we're going to make the world vegan sooner than we know it. What's up, buddy? You want to try the questions? No? All right. Have a great day. But yeah, so I encourage all you guys. I was going to start making a long form video today on how to do your own pop-up activism. At least what I've learned. I mean, I'm not as good as my colleagues, but I'm getting better. And I feel like a cool video to make would be a how to set this stuff up. Do it in your town. Let's have 10 vegans, well-read vegans in every town doing this and just questioning societal flow. Uh-oh, we got some contesters in here. Name says, God gave us animals to eat. Oh boy, so you're telling me that God put sentient beings on this earth with eyes to see, noses to smell, hearts to feel, and brains, just so we could unalive them for a yum-yum that we're not gonna remember. What's going on, guys? You guys wanna try the questions? Little critical thinking? All right, have a great day. Okay, so I gotta go. I'll say I got about 9 minutes or so, and I gotta take off. Drac, man, we got some trolls in here today, huh? It looks like. What's up, Vegan Heretic? How are you? Nice to see you. Oh, I love Vegan Heretic's got some great content over on his channel. Go check it out. Also, definitely check out D-Radical Veganarian on her channel. Like and subscribe. Give her a bunch of love. She's awesome. She's out on the street. How are you, brah? Oh yeah, 100%. I really like that video you did, Vegan Heretic, kind of breaking down a few things as far as religion and animal use, animal cruelty. The one that Jeremy was showing on his live stream, that was really articulate, really just very well communicated. I wish that video would get tons and tons of heat. Religion is such something used as a crutch not to go vegan. People love cherry picking, what they want to hear. If you really look at the Bible objectively, you'll see that, if Jesus was here in 2025, he would be vegan. He would not be paying for the rape of animals. He would not be unaliving little animals that are helpless and that just want to live for the sake of him going yummy in my belly. No. Jesus would not do that. He would be compassionate, guys. Beautiful day outside, that's for sure. Yeah, and I'm glad that it's really cool that you've actually extrapolated those sound replies that the Bible would say, and you've kind of made it a point of showcasing that on your channel. I love that. What's up, Steven? There we go. Enlightening says, we have always eaten animals. Enlightening, we've always done all kinds of stuff. Please, don't just cherry pick the one thing that you want because you want to continue your behavior and highlight that saying, oh, we've always done it. Please do me a favor. Please don't posit that way. We've always, pillaged, we've always raped, we've always mutilated female genitalia, but guess what? We've always killed animals. Guess what? We have a moral agency that allows us to boycott systems like that. What's going on, guys? You guys want to try the questions? Little critical thinking? Just test your values a little bit. That's it. All right, have a great day. going on, guys? You guys want to try the questions? Just test your values a little bit. That's it. Have a great day. I'm going to bait in the people that make faces. Hi there, how are you? Okay, guys, I think I'm getting ready to wrap up here. Gonna go home and start working on this long form. And I think I'm gonna go for a distance run today, a little later on. Guys. Hi, everybody. What's going on, buddy? How are you? You wanna try? A lot of people out for lunch now. I feel like there's more people. Hi, guys. Anybody want to try the questions? Just a little stress test. Stress test your values a little bit. Hi, Ish. Ish, weren't you here last night? It's good to see that you're back at least. Wow, there's an awful lot of people out here. So like even if you're not, say, getting into tons of conversations, it's at least nice to know that you're making people think with floating that word into the blogosphere, so to speak. And that's all we can do. That's all we can do. Is we can float that word into the blogosphere at a very minimal level. We can do that. That's we can wear T-shirts. We can put stickers. We can do activism like this. We have voices. We have all the utilities and all the things that we need to stand up and speak up for animals that don't have a voice and those that don't have a voice. So it's really a beautiful thing. And you get to come out here and enjoy the nice weather if you're doing activism like this and just hang out, talk to people. What's going on, guys? Oh, you want to try? Did you see my sign?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Are you okay being on my YouTube live? You don't have to be. You can be right there.
That's fine.
Okay, so I got to go like this then. All right, cool. Well, welcome, everybody. You guys are awesome for stopping by. So what's the event, by the way? There must be an event.
Oh, we just work at the state house.
Oh, heard. Okay, gotcha. I was there last week. So my first question is, what is veganism to you guys? What's the definition of veganism? What do you guys think?
Not eating any animal products that come from animals or derive of them.
Perfectly put, very articulate. And that's definitely like the surface definition, right? But we go a little deeper when we amplify on the really exact definition, which is essentially it's an ethos. And it's an ethos where we posture saying, no, I will not support exploitation. No, I will not support violence, oppression, you name it, all those negatively correlated things with that mechanism of action, which is our dollar. So that's the real definition. The second question is, are you guys against animal abuse?
Yes.
Right? Reflexively. Do you have any animals, any pets? Who's got pets? I do too. Cat guy. I'm a cat guy, not a dog dude. And I have no problem saying that. So the third question is, how can we collectively be against something if we are voting for it 3 times a day? That's a tough question, and that's where I put you on the spot. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, it is kind of a tough question because then we have to, I don't know, it's kind of changed how people look at animals and their level of conscience, especially after the scientific revolution where people are like less religious and they try and see things, I feel like in a different way and like how animals experience pain and things like that. Yeah. It's just,
It's kind of like something that we're becoming more aware of, but we're still kind of, there's these blinders on that disconnect us from food, and they're on by design, and they're not on by any kind of benevolent means. They're put on by certain control narratives that are 1% of the 1% that rely on the kind of siphoning of money off of that bottom 99%. So the real crux of this kind of thought experiment is just putting sentience on the table and making people aware of sentience. Where, have you guys heard that term before? Okay, it's like sentience is an emerging property of a nervous system in a brain, right? We know that animals have these things, so they have subjective experiences of this world. Like they can experience that beautiful blue sky, the wind in our face, the water. They have families, they have certain preferences. And the fact of the matter is, in 2025, nutritionally, we don't need anything from them. Like, there's nothing nutritionally you need. I've been vegan 12 years, my daughter since birth, my family. There's just narratives that propagate this kind of fear mongering, telling us otherwise. So, upon that stuff being said, well, first of all, anybody else anybody else have a thought on that?
Well, I have a question. So, are you against specifically the abuse of animals that leads to eating them, or just purely eating animals?
Yes.
In general?
So we would contest that abuse is absolutely inherent to animal agriculture. There is no bifurcating it, there is no separating it. Because when something is an object, the whole tender loving care goes right out the window. So an object is to be monetized, is to be exacted, is to be used for others' benefits and their own benefits. So once that becomes a thing, which is what's happening with commodities, animals, you can't separate the violence, the cruelty from the killing. It's completely one.
If, let's say, a cow were to live free and happy, like a natural life, his whole
Yeah.
life, and at the end of their life, a hunter came along, killed them, would you eat it, or would you still be against that?
Definitely not, because in that case, I would tilt to the animal outlook. So we tilt to the sentient being, the helpless animal, once again, that has no, agency. He's a patient of our morals. We are the moral agents, and he doesn't want that to happen, I would contest. And he has a time horizon left where he has more time to experience this beauty and the air and the everything that we have. So the hunter, I would say, is stealing somebody's time horizon for the sake of, feeding their family where they don't need to use the animal to feed their family, and you can just get readily available vegan options. That's what I would say to that. What would be the biggest thing stopping you guys from considering going vegan?
I've actually been a vegetarian my whole life. Basically,
Amazing.
I don't eat eggs either.
Amazing, okay.
The thing I pretty much eat is like cheese and
Cheese, okay.
milk. But I don't eat milk by itself, but in things.
Yeah.
If I do have milk like by itself,
Sorry.
it's either oat milk or almond milk.
Yeah.
But
Why'd you go vegetarian, or why are you vegetarian?
it honestly was something that I did when I was little. I grew up like kind of in a house in the woods, so I was always outside. Didn't really like. I don't know. I didn't like the idea of like. I thought animals were my friends. I didn't.
Yeah.
My friends.
So kind of like a palpable knowing.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
That's just my whole life. I haven't.
Yeah, gotcha. That's amazing, and that's probably all of your hearts are the same way, right? And the one thing I would say about vegetarianism is just one thing. Well, it's a big thing. The dairy industry is also abhorrent. Like what they do to cows, like industry, they have these terms for the circular things they put cows in. They call them, and this is industry language. The farmers will call them rape racks. So they literally put them in there, and then they put their hand in the cervix, hold down, or put their hand in the anus, hold down the cervix, and then inject the bull semen, and then forcibly impregnate the animal. And that's all against its will. And that happens not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times before they're hung upside down, throat cut ear to ear, and then they're on somebody's plate. For cheap meat, they don't warrant premium meat because their whole meat has been abused its whole life. So that effectively is something we're still paying for when we shore up systems of dairy with that dollar. So I would encourage your vegan heart to like ponder that, and all your vegan hearts. Because if you're all against animal abuse, you're already vegan. It's just a matter of pairing the void of action and values. That's it. That's literally it. And you work at the State House? That's so cool, because you could, like, doing that and making that choice, that gives you such credence into whatever mission that you're on, because you're already somebody. The information and whatever you're trying to do in your cause comes from a place of truth and ethos. And I think that's something to consider too. And you can be better guardians, protectors, because that's kind of an MO to, maybe what you're doing. I don't know.
What would you say to people, like, one of the main reasons I haven't gone vegan is because, like, a lot of doctors don't recommend it, say it's unhealthy. I already have a really hard time getting protein in.
Yeah.
Like, when I was little, I used to have to drink, like, so many protein supplements. Like,
Yeah.
my vitamins aren't good. It's
Yeah.
hard to, like, you feel weak all the time and tired,
Okay.
lethargic.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
what would
Okay.
you say to people, and it is expensive
Great.
going alternative meat and
Yep. Great points.
honest, like, soy products aren't that much better for you. It's still
Yeah.
very processed. What would you say to people who
Great points.
like economically and like health wise would
Here-
choose to do that?
This is a great question, and I'm glad that you asked it. So, and thank you for asking it. So, right now, as far as the amount of nutrition information that doctors get, it's almost nothing. An MD who, say, your general practitioner, does not know more about nutrition than well-read people that study nutrition. They just don't. And the information they get is all sponsored and given to them to understand and adopt for the sake of certain interests that eclipse all things. Like my own doctor, and I am constantly educating him, or I was until he retired, but I was constantly educating him on things where he's like, oh, I didn't know that. He got scared when I told him I went vegan. Like, and that's great. He has a compassionate heart. But then once I told him that, and I showed him evidence from other doctors, like there's plenty of other doctors that are in the plant-based space that kind of are not tied to industry that will tell you much more sound information and can articulate all your answers to all your questions. So I would say the nutrition thing, like if you guys, before you go, I got cards that have Challenge 22 on it. It's a website where they hook you up with a free dietary, or the free nutritionist that can guide you to whatever questions you may have, or to answer whatever questions you may have. But I mean, I'm vegan 12 years. I don't look at anything. My daughter's vegan. She looks at nothing. We eat enough calories. We're good. You have B12. B12 comes from the soil, does not come from an animal. It comes from the soil. We take a supplement for that. And if you're not vegan, you actually get it via a supplement, but it's from the cow getting the supplement. They get a shot. They get a shot now because you can't get it from the soil anymore. So we're both supplementing with B12. We're both. So that's how I would answer that. Like, you don't have to worry about that, but I understand that you're concerned about it. But I can tell you that, even an orange has every single essential amino acid. You just got to eat enough food, even an orange. If you were to learn that you could get everything and be healthy, would you consider going full vegan?
I mean, possibly. It's also like, as going into being a college student, I
Yeah.
can't really afford to be
Yeah.
eating off of like organic and
I get it.
like supplemental foods. It's not very
And you don't need to supplement. The supplement thing, don't worry about the supplement thing. I don't supplement. You don't need to supplement. You can have a protein shake, if you want, but everyone does that. You can have a plant-based protein shake. What I would say is that 10 to 20% premium, is it worth more than someone else's life? That's a tough question, I know. Is it worth more than kind of just going against your own values, that 10 to 20% premium? If, per se, you were to realize that non-vegan foods are cheaper than the vegan counterparts. That's a tough question to ponder, I know. Yeah. But I got to float it. That's the whole reason I'm here. I'm here for them, just speaking up for them. I got to float it, at least.
Well, what about the animals that die from plant agriculture, like
Great question.
millions of birds and field mice and things like that
I'm
die?
going to give you a great answer. Are you ready? Okay. So that's one that we get a lot, but I think it's more so seen as a way to kind of justify rather than an actual, I hate to say, I don't think it's very intelligent, and I'll tell you why. So first we have to start off with one thing. Veganism is not perfection, right? The actual definition, which was coined by Donald Watson in 1944, is doing your best as far as practicable and possible to not harm animals or exploit others. So that's the actual definition, right? Doing your best. You appeal to the nirvana, appeal to perfection. These things they're kind of fallacies, right? So the second thing I would posit with is this: 98% of the world is not vegan. Think about that for a second. We can transcend that to farmers. We can say 98% of farmers are not vegan. They're not. So as far as they're having evolved consciousness, it's not there yet. It's not there yet. They got the blinders on via the narratives. They're still on. And it's all about money, 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 money. Understandably so. That's capitalism, and that's what we abide in right now. So I have to ask a question. How would I possibly leapfrog the whole scenario and get right to the farmer and have him be more stewarding and compassionate to the animals when the people that actually shore up his systems are not convinced that animals are worth more than rocks or sticks? That's how I would posture back to you. Once we get to certain levels and we scale into a more vegan world, these kind of ideals of compassion and actions of compassion will proliferate. And we will be able to look after the farm better and protect the moles, protect the insects. But we're so disconnected from that, we have to just look at the bare minimum. The bare minimum we can do is just go vegan. Baseline, vegan, and then operate out of there. So that's what I would say to that. What do you think about that?
Touched on this a little bit. You were talking about the 1% siphoning more money from the bottom 99%.
Yes.
And
Okay.
talking about the specific narratives that industries may have for farmers and smaller farmer groups and things like that. Could you touch on that a little bit more, like some of the larger agendas that the industry has for the global population, and what are some like policy alternatives that you would like to see? Maybe not in like 5 years, but at least like 20, 30 years time, like long term implemented globally or at least regionally that could probably help your cause.
What a great, what a well-percepted question. So yeah, when I was talking about the 1% of the 1%, there's basically like 8,000 people that control everything. They're 1% of the 1%, and I'll call them like the plutocrats. They're on another level. You might have heard some of their names. Some of them start with R's, right? And they're very, very elite. And they have this want to keep people to control. That's basically the biggest thing. And you get to control by getting money, then getting power, then you get to control. And they've achieved that. And there's only 8,000 of them. So the whole idea is control. And with that comes taking away all of our freedoms. Now, we think we're free. You know, we think this is all freedom and this is great. But the thing is, we're really not, because we're following orders as far as the eating and consuming of animals for taste, convenience, and pleasure, which are all unnecessary. So those orders are by design architected to sustain that siphoning of money, to keep them wealthy, to keep them powerful, to keep them controlling. In animal agriculture is one of the biggest monetary engines that drives that dynamic, right? So they want us to remain basically caged. We think we're free, but we're really not, because we are still following these orders. We're getting heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. We're in these cages. And then the reason that's happening is because we're doing it to others as well, and it's boomeranging back to us. Like, we're doing it to the animals. We're taking away their freedom. We're taking away their autonomy, their bodily autonomy, their families, and that's boomeranging back to us. And that is therefore boomeranging optimally back to them to sustain that kind of siphoning off of our 1%. So my whole idea in the next 5-10 year time horizon, and there's other people like me that come out here. I'm not just the only one. There will be more too, because we have this beautiful opportunity that I can have with you guys that you would never see on mainstream TV. You will never see this on mainstream TV, at least right now, because it's way too disruptive, way too disruptive. My idea is to kind of, our idea is to kind of tilt people's purview and have them back up and look at sentience and consider sentience and consider what the root of the problem really is, and the root is animal agriculture, and tilt their buying dynamics to therefore be in a better place to evolve, make rules, be guardians, be protectors moving forward into these next decades and scores. So I guess that's how I would answer that. I know that's a loaded subject. If you're interested in what I just said with the 8,000, look up a book called The World Peace Diet by Dr. Will Tuttle. In fact, would you guys take cards? I actually got to get back to my car because I think I'm going to be towed. I hope not. But if you want it, take a card, you know, and it's got my YouTube channel on it. It'll probably have this interview on it. It's just a beautiful thing. I appreciate you guys stopping by. There's a speech on the other side, which was the speech that turned me vegan 12 years ago. But the book is called The World Peace Diet. It's written by Dr. Will Tuttle, and he will answer your question much better than me. I was not as clear as he would be if you were to look up his content, his YouTube channel, his book, The World Peace Diet. It all comes down to compassion and consideration. So, yeah. Thanks for stopping by and having the courage to stop by, guys. You guys are awesome. I'm gonna pack up because I don't want to get a huge ticket. You know, you guys have a great rest of your day. Yeah, please.
If you had the opportunity to stand in front of the General Assembly and suggest legislation tackling the issue of animal cruelty, what would you suggest?
What would I suggest?
Yes.
I would suggest, that's a great question, and you're putting me on the spot. I would suggest awareness campaigns, and shoring up awareness campaigns like this monetarily, and giving activists different resources and outlets of which they can just kind of exact this beautiful dynamic that we just had. So maybe I would ask for different resources that we could adopt and garner to simply spread information. Because it really comes down to the consumer. Like, the system itself is a problem, but the consumer keeps voting for it. And half of the people that I talk to will change sooner rather than later, and a lot of people will not. But it comes down to awareness and building out and proliferating more awareness campaigns. So I would go in front of them and ask for, amounts of money that I would solely and transparently exact into proliferating dynamics just like this. That's what I would do.
All right, thank you.
What's your name, man?
Matthew.
Matthew, I'm Jimmy. Tell them about me. I'll ask. I'm very open-minded. I do this every once in a while. But it's all about the animals, nothing else. There's no money in this. Yeah. It's all about just spreading information, sound information, So
Well, thank you for
Cool.
coming out here and
100%. 100%. I'm going to pack up, try to get back to my car. But you guys have a great day. And check out the resources for sure. Because you can do it right now. Going vegan. That's it. What do I got here? Okay, I got this one up. Why aren't you vegan yet? Okay, so what's veganism? Have you guys heard the term?
Like not eating meat, right?
Yeah, that's part of it.
And animal products.
Yeah, that's she nailed it very,
crap.
very well. So it's animals.
I bet I've eaten animal product.
No, but I'm just like the definition is exactly what she said. No, it's integral. It's not exactly. I'm going to build on what exactly.
Trying to interrupt.
Who is?
Oh, hello.
But what it really is a stance against oppression, violence, hate, and stuff like that. That's underneath about a few layers down. That's the real definition. And I like to clear that up right off the bat. Because food will be consequential, animal testing will be consequential, clothes will be consequential. But what it really has to do with is saying, I'm a person it is not going to support paying for a system that's going to hurt someone else. And that goes for animals and humans. Factory farm workers are amongst the most marginalized groups of people in the world. They have domestic violence that goes way through the roof, suicide rates that go right through the roof. And the main thing that's controlling this is how we exact our dollar. My third question is, are you guys against animal abuse in general? Just
Yes.
off the cuff question. Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm sure you all are.
Yeah, but they taste good though.
Okay, so let me build on that.
Yeah, I agree. They
So,
do taste
so how would you, if you are against it, how can you be authentic, or how can you balance paying for it 3 times a day if you're against it? Like, say I'm against beating my wife, but I go home and I just beat the hell out of her 3 times a day. How do I reconcile that, like spiritually and emotionally?
You just don't do it.
You just don't do it.
No.
You just don't do it. So, taste is one thing, but do you think that taste or that
it's worth the beating.
eclipses the bodily autonomy of somebody else?
That's a good point.
It's a hard hitter.
Yeah.
It's a hard hitter, and that's why I'm out here, just to proliferate awareness.
What is this Doug doing?
I got a feeling you know that guy.
Yeah.
But
breaking Maryland traffic law.
what's the biggest thing that would stop you guys from going vegan? What's the biggest?
I love meat. It's not
Yeah, me too.
affordable.
But I still eat it, the vegan version of though. But I
It's
still
not
eat it.
affordable. The nutritional values aren't as good.
Okay. Can you amplify on the nutritional?
For example, I'm not going to get the.
She's actually a fake veganologist.
Well, what are the vitamins we can't get?
Well, like protein, for example,
with this
you're not
thing.
going to be able to get protein in a non-vegan as
Y'all like my
compared
buzz
to,
cut?
like, eating meats and things like that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're growing. It's
Well,
not-
the best bioavailable protein. You know what the best bioavailable protein would be for us? Have you guys seen the show Yellow Jackets?
Yellowstone?
Heard of it.
So our own human flesh would be the most bioavailable, right? But obviously by design we're not supposed to eat that. But how do the animals get protein? How do they get it?
Grass.
That's not perfect. So you eat each other.
Well, some do, but about 1% do. But they get it from
Yeah,
plants.
exactly. I
They
knew
eat
that.
plants. So every single plant has every single essential amino acid, every single plant. There's a few outliers, but all of them do. You just have to eat enough food, right? So I don't take supplements. I've been vegan 12 years. My daughter doesn't
Kids will
take
be
supplements.
kids.
She's been vegan
Yo.
since birth.
Why you call me a clown, bro? I might.
No, he didn't, did he? Be nice, be nice. Most of these guys are non-vegan anyway. They're probably just trolling. But if we found out that nutritionally we didn't need
trolling,
it,
bitches.
if we found out nutritionally we didn't need it, do you think we would still be justified to continue doing it?
I'm sorry, can you say that again? You distracted
If
me.
we found out nutritionally there's nothing of an animal we need, do you think we're still justified in our perpetuating and propagating the same systems?
Well, accessibility.
Yeah. I'm saying-
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's something we can tackle, but isn't that a strong why? Because when you pay for a system like this, you're taking away somebody's complete bodily autonomy. You're taking away their families. You're permeating that pain throughout their families, and it's all for the sake of a meal you won't remember in a week. It's a tough.
You could say the same thing about being. You could say
About
the same
what?
thing about being vegan, though.
Okay. Well, how do you mean?
I'm saying you're thinking about a meal you won't remember in a week.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but in this case, like as far as like the non-vegan meal, you're taking someone's time horizon and their whole experience of life. With plants, plants aren't sentient. They're more automatrons. They don't have that central nervous system in the brain or the subjective experience of life. Now, some plants are very intelligent, but the knowing, the kind of general consensus is that animals have eyes to see and noses to breathe.
Would you say like eggs are bad or like?
Yeah, fact.
Wow.
Let me.
Well,
what were you
also,
gonna say?
I think I just have a different stance on this between like, I don't see.
Oh.
Like I was.
Ice cream. I got you. I saw that comment. So Superman, and then what you got? Cockade or just
No, I want to hear you. Go
Subman?
ahead.
No, my fault. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I don't know. I just don't see like live. Like obviously, I wouldn't ever eat like a pet or anything like
Yeah.
that. But I don't see livestock as necessarily like.
Do you think you could do it? You think you could end somebody like an animal with a knife and then harvest it? And that's I know it's a tough question.
Like I think I could.
Like intuitively, I don't know if you could. I think it would bring a lot of emotion and maybe trauma, just because they're so like us. They're very much like us, and we've been trained to think exactly how you're kind of imbuing the scenario. We've been trying to think, okay, it's normal, it's necessary, it's nice, and that is not
By who?
anybody. By the industry narratives that have been around since the dawn of time. Like herding culture. Have you heard of herding culture? Basically, this world is built on
Bestiality.
No. But the idea that someone is not as valuable as somebody else, general idea, and transcending that up through the ages, up through the years. And this is, in our 2025 period of time, this is the material kind of version of that we are exacting 3 times a day. So what would stop you guys, man? Let's go vegan. Let's go vegan today. What do you think?
I feel
'Cause
like,
the biggest
as
thing-
like a sports player, I gotta eat some meat.
Watch Game Changers on Netflix.
Game Changers?
Game Changers on Netflix. Yeah, you'll learn all about nutrition and athletes and all the stuff that you're wondering about. But
Like, can you answer the egg question?
the egg, yeah, I can answer that. He wants the egg. After the egg question, I got to wrap up because my car might be getting towed right now. So the eggs, right? You're still effectively saying your body, my choice when you're taking eggs, from an animal. And then if you pay for eggs in the industrial space, say at the store or wherever you get them from, you're paying for male chicks to go into a blender. Because on their first day of life, they go into a blender, and then we just blend them up. And that's just SOP for industry. They do that because they're of no use.
So I have my own chickens. I mean,
vegan loophole. But we don't need anything nutritionally, nothing. No matter what anybody tells you, your parents, your friends, just know that, you're looking at a guy that's been vegan for the better part of a couple decades. My daughter's been vegan since birth, not one issue ever. She's a martial artist, she's awesome. She needs nothing. And you can do it. You can do it today if you want to. And I'll leave you guys with that. I actually do have to wrap up, guys.
Yep.
Because
All right,
I
see
have
you
to
guys.
go.
It's great talking to y'all. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for stopping,
God bless
everybody.
America.
Just think about it. Think about the systems you pay for. That's all this campaign is for. I got to shut down, guys. Just because my car. Yep. My name's Jimmy. What's your name?
My bad, Roman.
Roman, what's your name?
My name's Rob.
Robbie, nice to meet you.
John, nice to meet you.
John, what's about you? Jada. Oh, nice to meet you. But I'll be out here from time to time, so if you guys have any other questions. Yeah, I'm usually out here. I was out here last night. Here, take a few cards, guys, if you want. This is my YouTube channel.
Oh,
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. And but promise me you'll at least check it out. Check out the resources I got on there.
For sure.
What I can
Cool.
do is definitely the Game Changers Netflix.
Netflix, Game Changers, baby. You'll learn all those athletes that you love so much. A lot of them are vegan. NFL. Shit, reactivate. Can you guys hear me? Shit, okay, I'm still here. You guys still here? Sorry, guys. I'm getting ready to sign off. I gotta run back to my car. Next time, I'll see if I can get something that'll elongate my battery. I feel like there's so much more potential today to talk to all these people, but I have other stuff to do today too, and my phone is effectively also dying. So I love you all. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support, and let's get out there and make the world vegan. Let's do it. All right, guys. All right, Martin, Lewis, Nora, all my friends. Yeah, please like and subscribe too. Everybody like and subscribe for sure. That way we can proliferate, this information, which is great for everybody. Great for the animals for sure. All right, bye.